Hello, hello. Let's see what is going on today. All right, it says here why flight attendants always sit on their hands during takeoff and landing. I don't know. Maybe they want to give themselves a stranger, a little reach around, make it feel like someone else is doing it during the flight, in-flight entertainment. I have no idea. I've noticed it, but it just didn't seem that important. I wasn't curious. As with most things flight attendants do, it's all about safety. Really? They don't trust their hands? Wandering hand syndrome? If you're sitting near a jump seat on a plane, whether one in the galley or in the middle of the cabin, you might have noticed the flight attendants assuming a somewhat unusual position during takeoff and landing. Oftentimes, they sit on their hands. It's a safety position. Hillary Clark, director of in-flight services with private jet company Planet Nine, tells Travel Plus Leisure. The reason for this safety position is if an emergency were to occur on takeoff or landing, their head, hands, and arms are already in slight brace position. Okay, so their hands could just go flying if they're not braced. Okay, but you don't really have to sit on it, do you? Just wrap it behind your back or something. Remember, a flight attendant's primary job is to keep passengers safe, not just serve drinks and snacks. So they're constantly prepared for emergencies. Takeoff and landing are the phases of a flight with the highest instance of incidents. Of accidents. So flight attendants automatically assume a rigid position that prepares them to act efficiently and immediately in case of emergency. All right. At the same time, they are often performing a silent review of emergency procedures, so they're ready to go if anything were to happen. Aircraft manufacturer Airbus recommends all cabin crew to perform silent reviews on each flight according to its safety documents. The silent review or 30-second review is recommended for cabin crew to mentally recall the key aspects of the emergency evacuation procedure while they're seated at their station before each takeoff and landing and decrease the risk of distraction. The silent review will help the cabin crew to focus and be prepared in case an emergency evacuation is required. This technique would also help to minimize the startle effect. None of that is going to stop people from freaking out and just bulldozing past you. Um, but at least your hands are warm. Sitting on their hands isn't the only brace position a flight attendant might assume during takeoff and landing, depending on the jump seat position and location, the aircraft type. They also place their head in a certain way for takeoff and landing. So like in the crook of the neck, kind of. For example, if their seat is facing away from the pilots towards the aft of the aircraft, they place their head slightly up and back on the headrests. Okay, one of these. Okay, because if they get launched back, they can be already be braced. If their seat is facing the pilots to the forward of the aircraft, they place their head down and slightly tuck their chin. Yeah, I knew it because I had to do that training before. That's probably why I know it. I don't remember it detail, but I definitely did some training like that before for aircraft. Um, as a passenger, you don't necessarily need to assume this position too. Passenger brace positions typically involve hugging your knees or pushing your arms against your seat in front of you or sucking your thumb. Though this varies per aircraft and seat type, but this is a good reminder to always review the safety card after you're board an aircraft and keep your seatbelt fastened at all times. During takeoff and landing, it's best to be alert and not sleeping. I'm sleeping. I don't know who you're talking to. I'm sleeping. It's going to be a long flight. I'm sleeping. So you're prepared for any issues. Once you hear the plane bell ding after takeoff, that's when the flight attendant gets out of their seat. You can sit back, relax, enjoy your flight. All right. Well, now your flight attendant's hands smell like ass. Anyways, that was interesting. Until next time.